My
All right, we're live. So sorry about that small interruption, folks. We had a minor malfunction with a camera, so we're redoing it now, and we will pick up where Joyful left off in just a moment. What were you about to say?
am I
You're about to,
buzzing or anything?
no, you're great.
Okay,
You're great.
good. Because I put my phone on the charger.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
I'm using to talk.
All right. I'm gonna share the link. There we
All right.
go. It is shared. So that was my bad. Sorry, I just banged my microphone like a noob and a boomer, which I am both of those things. So, if without further ado, if you wouldn't mind continuing where you were. Oh, we're joined by Pete Max. Hey, Pete, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, snap. It's Pete.
Hail Caesar!
Hail, Caesar! Hail, Pete Mac!
And hail Joyful!
Oh, thanks.
Pete Mac, my brother from a Northumbrian mother. How you doing, buddy?
Well, just chomping down on Reese's peanut butter cup, and my God, it's delicious.
So we just picked up with Joyful. We had to unfortunately end the last broadcast because I
Yeah.
boomered it up and Mort boomered it up, and yeah. So that old stream is gone, and we're going to continue with Joyful's chapter he was reading.
You know, Joyful, you could do a regular slot with that voice reading out your own work.
Dude, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how. I mean, your story, I'm liking it so far. To give you feedback, I am liking it so far. But if it was bad, it would still sound pretty fucking cool with you reading it.
My name is Joyfulest Prime, and we are the War Campaign bots.
Dude,
Let's
seriously,
roll.
you could get a job as a voice actor,
Yeah,
just
definitely.
reading fucking like Lovecraft novels or something. You know? Oh my
I
god.
was I was thinking H.G. Wells,
Oh yeah,
War
that
of the
too.
Worlds. You know,
No, you've got an incredible voice. I know you said you don't like the sound of your own voice, but it's incredible. So
Well,
I think it's awesome.
yeah, well, um, the biggest, like, I think this is one of the biggest reasons as to why I don't like my own voice is because I was often bullied in middle school and high school
Yeah,
because of it.
yeah,
And that's part of the reason why I'm homeschooled right now.
right. Well, yeah, I'm
well,
sorry
we love you.
for
We
that.
love you, Joyful.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
know.
true.
we here's looking at you, kid.
So please continue with your chapter if you don't mind.
Right. The men also had bronze tags that hung off their necks, close to their shirts. The man in black was named Grim. The one who'd given Livs a thumbs up was Famine, and the one with the bow was Conquest. We're the four horsemen of the apocalypse. You mean, Liz stuttered, trying to get the words out of her mouth. Yup, the same ones from the Bible. War, famine, conquest, and me. Death. Grim explained, putting his hands in his coat pockets. We're angels, and you? Well, you're the most important human alive right now. And that's the end of chapter 1.
All right. Yeah, it was. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed the. I'm sorry.
Melker?
I got something in my mouth.
Okay, good. He's got the thing.
Yeah, you're good now. I thought it was pretty good, man. For a first
Any,
draft, it's pretty refined, and you can obviously refine it further and all that stuff. But it's a great concept, an interesting idea.
I, I'm on, that's not all what I've got written, but I'm on chapter 6 of what I've got written.
Hmm.
So,
Well, good. All right.
I figured I would just share chapter 1 right now, and
Yeah, it's still a work in progress, man. So
yeah.
I mean, you got a lot of you got to finish it. Then you've got to go through all your drafts and everything. And we lost Morgoth again, or Melkor again.
Gosh darn it.
Oh, and he's back.
Why do you keep leaving and joining? What the heck? I hate it when people do that.
Well, some people would use the word boomer. I prefer to say technically retarded. You know. Oh, God.
Melkor, he's a road warrior, mate.
You just missed me finishing off the chapter that I'd written for the first chapter of my book.
My God, you've got a badass voice. I remember you from the Crow's Nest. And, you know, they didn't give you your due there. That place was a bit of a, you know, disorganized.
Yeah.
So give us your best Son of Crow.
Yeah,
Come
very
on.
metal. Very metal. What now?
Yeah, what did you
Give us
say?
some Son of Colonel comics. The audience is dying to hear it.
Which story? I can't do an Australian accent for shit, but you know, I have been learning the slang a little bit. You know, reading up on kangaroos and such.
Yeah.
I've got a buddy who's teaching me Swedish.
Oh, interesting.
Swedish lessons.
Yeah,
Bit of a Viking.
because my school doesn't. The only foreign language my school offers is Spanish, and I don't. I just can't with Spanish.
Why don't you tell us how you were found? Or are you going to
That's a
save
good
that one for
story.
another time?
Well, might want to save it when you know.
It's a good one.
That would be good to spring on Ro live on a stream, you know, and get his thoughts on all of it too. Since I did grow up at his compound.
Yeah.
Very entertaining time, you know. And the secret's out now, though the Colonel may be my father. For those who are watching, obviously, Kelsey Grammer is my Kelsey Grammer. Fuck Kelsey, not Kelsey Grammer. You know, I've got the wobbly boot on already, as they say in Australia. But yeah, Kelsey Shannon is apparently my mother.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was Prey. I mean,
Well, you know, I could have two mothers. You know, Prey volunteered, but you know, I don't really look like him at all. I do. I was even wearing my gayest glasses. Unfortunately, I've got a pair of things. You know, I was working virtual for so many years. I never left the house and didn't go anywhere. So every time they broke, I'd add safety pins, you know, to keep the ears on.
let me
And
ask
the
you
middle
this.
even snapped at one point, and I just melted it back together with a lighter, you know, as you do.
Could it be that Kelsey laid the egg into Praetorian's ass and Praetorian carried the egg that hatched you?
I don't want to think about that.
It's entirely possible.
That
Stranger things have happened in Comicsgate and War Campaign, of course.
that just brings up an image that I want to get rid of immediately.
Yeah, well, you know.
Like a blue dolphin, I suppose. But yeah, it's that is a bit of an image. But,
Well,
hell,
maybe it's a pigeon thing. The egg came from Kelsey and Colonel, but Prey sat on it, you know, at the compound.
there you go. Prey sat on it.
Until I was hatched. Prey sat on. Yeah. No, I didn't mean it that way, but you know.
We've got Terry in the chat. Hail, Terry. How are you, brother? I hope you're probably getting ready to go to work, or you're off today, I think. That's right. He's off on Friday, Saturday. Yeah. So what's going on with you, Pete Mack, over in Northumbria there?
Well, I'm looking forward to tonight's round table, and tomorrow night we've got Movie Watch Live, the longest day to celebrate or commemorate the biggest Allied military operation ever mounted.
Operation Overlord.
Indeed, and
Wait, Operation Overlord.
yeah, in 1944.
Yeah,
D-Day.
we're gonna watch a movie about D-Day tomorrow
Yeah.
to celebrate
Nice.
D-Day.
Sabaton's got a song about D-Day called Primo Victoria. Its opening is awesome.
Sounds good.
Go
So
on,
yeah, that's most of my weekend. All of that, and I might get round to doing a barbecue. Depends what the weather's going to be like. So yeah.
Oh, all right.
How about everybody else?
I'm not entirely sure what I got for the weekend.
All right.
Might go see that new Godzilla movie.
Oh yeah, I'm going to do that definitely. Yeah.
Why? I'm just wondering why people took Mothra and Godzilla and made them a thing.
Why people did that?
Yeah.
Shipping. Have they shipped
Yeah.
them?
Oh, they're seriously shipping Godzilla and Mothra?
Yeah. I keep seeing images of the pairing pop up on my Twitter feed, and I'm so confused. I don't mind, but I'm just confused because I haven't seen the movie.
All right,
So
I'll wager you there are two types of people that are doing that. First type of people that are doing that are true and utter degenerates that are seriously shipping a lizard and a fucking moth to
A
screw.
giant lizard and a
The other
giant
people
moth.
are that are shipping that are doing it because that they're trolling the people that are doing it for real.
I mean, most of the artwork is impressive. Like, I do like the drawing.
You're not into hentai like Durican, are you?
What?
You're not into
Oh.
hentai like Durican, are you?
There's a chap.
Because I mean, he's talking about all these pictures, these things being shipped, and you know how that goes.
I'm just trying
Well,
to
it's-
imagine.
None of it is like not safe for work material. It's just Mothra. Most of it is just Mothra standing on Godzilla's head. Like
It all sounds very
freaking
unfortunate,
parrot.
especially the Durkin part.
It's actually hilarious.
I can't, but
You know
I
what this
do like
reminds me
Durkin.
of? You know what this reminds me of? Remember when Endgame came out, and instead of actually spoiling the movie with memes, people just posted Endgame spoilers without context. And one of them was a pair of so everyone here has seen Endgame, right?
No,
Avengers Endgame.
I refuse to see it. I know what it. I know.
I
the
never
gist
did.
of it, but fuck them. They're not getting my money.
Okay, well, I saw it. It was pretty good. Captain Marvel got sucker punched out of the movie, which was hilarious.
I heard it was decent. At one point after Infinity War, though, I realized that the original Avengers from the original timeline actually won at the end of that movie, so no need to see Endgame. The way Marvel time travel works, when you go back in time, you create a new timeline, and if you remember, Thanos went back in time to stop Scarlet Witch from destroying the Mind Stone. At that point, we left the original timeline, and it was all new. And the Avengers that were there, they would have just seen Thanos pop out of existence and never come back. Game over. They won. Simple.
Is that why the newest Spider-Man movie brings up the multiverse stuff?
I think so, because they don't have a good way to explain, why everyone on his bus is 5 years old. I mean, he got snapped, but, it would be weird if the entire busload of children got snapped too. But, some of them should be 5 years older and not even on a field trip with him. But
The bus driver's the only one that got snapped. Changed my mind.
who knows? I mean, that Sony did a Venom movie, which I heard was good, but doesn't have any
Oh
connection
yeah,
to
the
Spider-Man
Venom
whatsoever.
movie is amazing, and I'm really hoping that, it's the only live-action Venom that I've seen that's actually really good.
You've seen
And
other
I
live
just-
action Venom?
Yeah, Spider-Man 3 from.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, technically that's correct.
The one where they made Venom into a skinny fuck.
It was Eric Foreman from that 70s show, right? Played him.
I'm not sure, but I do know.
Red
The other
Foreman
two
played him?
Spider-Man movies were awesome, but that one, it's just bad.
Did you say the guy that played Red Foreman played him?
Eric Foreman, not Red. Red would have been awesome.
I was gonna say, holy shit.
One of my favorite
Nice
things
choice.
about the Venom movie would have to be that Tom Hardy voice does the acting for not only Eddie Brock, but also does the voice acting for Venom.
Ah.
Also,
I mean-
that lobster that he eats was complete marshmallow.
I do like Tom Hardy, not as much as Mel, of course, because Mel will always be special, even though he's a racist bigot, and of course I'm not okay with that now that I've been a progressive for about 2 months. But
That's right.
Ah,
That's
the Australian apocalypse of '79. I remember it well. I was a few years old. You know,
The
that's the one
kangaroos had
thing.
guns.
Hail, bad
So one
boy.
thing, as I've mentioned, we got that before everybody else in the world, the apocalypse. That's the only thing Australia got first. We're still waiting for DVDs and CDs and things of that nature.
Have you gotten
Still
running
on
water yet?
cassette. Well, there's a well outside, but you have to be very careful. It's near the crocodile pond where I throw the kangaroos. You know,
Crocodile
I'll be doing that
pond.
this weekend, wrangling kangaroos. You know, they'll get loose from the paddock again. Maybe a little bit of grilling. I grow them to feed them to the crocodiles, of course.
Whenever I hear paddock, I can't help but think of Jurassic Park.
Yes. Yes. The
Yeah.
Tyrannosaurus paddock. Yes.
Yes. You know, there's a saying in Australia which means one's gone insane, and that's when you've got some kangaroos loose from the paddock. Like I said, I've been researching and studying. Don't want to let Dad down. No, not at all. He's a great man. So glad he's back. It was a little weird that he became a Muslim, but
Did you assume his gender?
Oh, you see, 2 months in, I'm still learning. I'm very problematic. Before this, I
And you
was.
call yourself an ally?
Well, it's hard. It's been quite a transition because my previous incarnation was the first Dark Lord of Middle Earth, and well, you know what that guy was like.
The what?
The first Dark Lord of Middle Earth, Melkor the Morgoth, as they called me. A lot of orc stuff.
Lord of the Rings song.
Terry took all my orcs and turned them gay. But more power to him.
That's basically the plot to Shadow of Mordor. Some guy takes the orcs and turns them gay.
Well, he's sometimes he's Sauron. He uses a Sauron picture occasionally, but he's also the Witch King of Gaemar. So orcs are going to be gay.
What now?
The Witch King of Witch King of Angmar, actually, but it's Terry, so we say Gaemar. In this second age, there was a realm north of Arnor, which was the sister kingdom of Gondor, and Sauron sent the Witch King to establish a kingdom above it called Angmar, and it was full of orcs and wicked men, and for a few centuries, they just beat up on the poor Númenóreans until they pretty much killed them all. Yeah. Angmar. Or Angmar. Means iron home, I think, in black speech. Something like, oh, I said black speech. That's probably
Black speech? What the heck?
That's what orcs speak.
Thank you for
it's not my
watching.
fault.
This stream is now demonetized. Demonetized.
No.
Demonetized.
Nah, forget demonetized. This channel's been deleted.
It is called the black speech, though.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Are you actually serious?
Yeah, the language is
Yeah, the black speech.
That's hilarious.
Joyful dude. It's not like that.
No, it's just.
I know it's
Evil
not
speech.
like that, but out of context, hearing somebody say,
Yeah.
"Hey, you want to learn the black speech?"
Well, it's actually a derivation of Elvish that was corrupted and perverted. It's something that Morgoth and Sauron taught the orcs to speak. So they weren't going around speaking Elvish or human because those are terrible languages. That's fucked up.
Languages. Yeah.
There I go again. I some things I can't escape. I still hate the elves with a bloody passion.
So you're saying that
Mark-
was your first incarnation was the original Dark Lord of Middle Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morg, was my pronunciation correct here? Ashnaz Durbatuluk Ashnaz Gimbatul Ashnaz
Back home. Yes, that's perfect.
Rakatuluk Achburdumish Gimbatul.
Oh, you
God,
would make a fine orc. I
I'm
must
so
say.
confused because I've never seen Lord of the Rings.
Oh, it's. Oh, actually, I hate the movies, but I like the first one for the most part. Although I could have gone for a 4-hour-long movie that was just the Council of Elrond. I mean, they kind of bungled all of that. It was 10 minutes long and not quite proper, but the rest of it was
4 chapters in the book. It may as well be 4 hours long.
Yeah. And then the second one, when the elves showed up to help at Helm's Deep. I mean, sorry for the spoilers. Granted, it's like an
It's not
18-year-old movie.
Yeah,
now.
it's not a spoiler because I already
in the Second Age, when the elves and the Numenorians and the men got together and defeated Sauron and Isildur cut the ring off his finger, it wasn't called the second to the last alliance of men and elves. It was the last alliance of men and elves. So I don't know what Peter Jackson was thinking.
He wanted to make it sexy.
Yeah.
That really kind of ruined it for me too. That was like up until that point, I was cool with the little itty bitty changes they made, but that really killed it for me right there.
Yeah. Can I just say, Ro, could be Hail Ro in the chat. It said Gondoria.
Gondorrhea.
Gondor.
That's too close to gonorrhea for me. Is that supposed to be the joke?
Yes, that's supposed to be the joke.
That's the joke.
That's the joke.
His
That's
full
the
name
joke.
is Rohan. Ro is short for Rohan, so I assume he knows quite a bit about Middle Earth. We should trust him on this one.
Every time I see Ro now, all I can hear is Christopher Lee saying, Rohan is mine!
Rohan.
Anyway.
Yeah? Yeah.
He is all of our gay lord. He is our gay lord.
He is our guy.
All of ours. Damn it. Fucking Morgoth. Jesus Christ, dude.
I do love me some Middle Earth. Almost as much as Australia, which, actually Australia, it's right next to Middle Earth because that's apparently New Zealand.
Yeah.
I'm
Apparently that's what
completely convinced.
Star Wars. No, not Star. Kelsey's getting married to that Star Wars girl in New Zealand.
Oh, yeah, I heard that on the best live stream ever.
That was the most degenerate shit I've ever heard in my life.
So there's a roundtable stream tonight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the roundtable? Because I've been busy with school and stuff, so I've been...
It's good.
It's where we take it. Right now, we're kind of just bullshitting and just talking, but tonight we'll talk about some serious subjects of the week in Comicsgate and kick it around and maybe pimp some books and just generally talk about all the crazy shit that happens in this. Let's face it, this is got to be the craziest hobby in the entire world. I mean, you have people getting swatted and doxxed and all this crazy shit over comic books. So, yeah, in this crazy hobby, we're going to go over some of the things that happened this week. And there's a lot of stuff did.
They talk a
Are
little
you going to be
politics
at the
and
table,
sometimes too.
or like who's going to be at the table?
My computer table, and Steve Dye is going to be at his, and all the guys are going to be talking. And we're not literally going to be at a table.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay. Sorry, buddy. So you're asking what exactly are we all going to be talking at once or what?
No, I'm asking like who's going to be the ones to do the talking?
Oh, well, it's on my channel, but it's hosted by Steve Dye. Pete will be here. I'll be there. Aldous will be there. Tinfoil Hat Nick will be there, and we may have someone else on. I don't know yet.
This is good stuff. Yeah.
Surprise guest.
Yes. Hail man of sex.
Hey, we got Man Sex in the chat.
Left
snap.
testicle. Left testicle. God.
The Jizzmaster is here. Excellent. I wish I could see the chat, but again, I'm a technical retard and I'm on my phone and I can't, so. Don't like the word boomer, though. I can't say enough about that. What's wrong? That's not... everyone over 30 is a boomer? What the hell? The boomers are almost all dying out, thankfully. The baby boom and all of that. I think a lot of the problems in society trace back to that sad generation. It's a shame. It's a shame. Children of the greatest generation grew up in luxury. They're just like the bastards of 1848. They didn't have anything better to do. Everything was nice and good, so they had to invent a bunch of causes to run all around. And then they all got old and greedy and, filled us full of toys and cable TV and video games and scary cartoons. And, that's what happened to Generation X.
Scary cartoons? What
Yep.
do you mean scary cartoons?
Oh, well, cartoons used to be more violent and weird. And,
Yeah, I know they used to be more violent, but weird?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd say they've gotten
Movies in the
weird.
1980s. He didn't question it. I was at work today, and I was telling a work colleague, this lady who was, I think she's only about 25 or something, and I was telling her about a program we used to have in Britain called Wurzel Gummidge, which is about a scarecrow that came alive.
All right, hold on a
And,
second. Bro just asked that we make this gayer, and you said the word Wurzel Gummidge. I think that counts, right?
Wurzel Gummidge, and he came alive, and that was enough for her to say, "Oh my God, that sounds like a horror." This is no, seriously, it was a kids program. It was great. And then when I got to the point where I told her that he had different heads and he used to take his head off and put different heads on depending how he felt, that was
That sounds pretty
I was
horrific.
like, that's enough. But you just took it as it was. Looking back, it was pretty fucking freaky, I'm gonna say. But you just said
So,
you just lapped it up because it was the 1980s.
Yeah.
So, the chat also,
Well-
man, sex is demanding more nipples, and sorry, sexual, not see mine.
Well, you can't see me, but I'm doxing my nipples right now.
I'm extremely gay myself. I was mostly gay even before War Campaign, but after War Campaign, oh my God, and it's my month, obviously. I'm also trans-Australian as well as internet gay, so that's a double
how in the
whammy.
world are you trans-Australian? How does that work?
That's a whole nother notch on the intersectionality chart, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm cis white gay trans-Australian, so I'm still not very high up on the progressive stack the way things are going these
Wait,
days.
I'm confused. Are you trans or trans-Australian? Like,
Trans-Australian. I wasn't always Australian, but then I learned that Kermit Comics was my father, and so trans-Australian.
Oh, okay, now
obviously.
I get it.
Yeah, it was a hell of a thing.
You got to get
But good
injected.
news.
What's that?
It was a hell of a thing, but good news. I was happy to find out.
Yeah, Man of Sex points out that your full stack is weak, so we got to get you some more intersectionality points.
Yeah,
We got to figure out what that's going to be.
I don't know. Go to the tanning salon, maybe. Brown
I
up
got
a bit.
Asperger's. Does that cover my intersectionality stuff?
Probably, yeah, I would say so.
A bit. If autism counts, I'm definitely on the spectrum myself. So there's that. In the command structure, I think I'm the grandmaster of autists for War Campaign, which I think includes just me and Joyful Dude, unless we've got any more. I suspect we have a few more around. They just haven't been diagnosed yet, but send them my way.
Man of Sex says, get pube diamonds.
I saw that. Yeah.
Worked for me.
How does one attach them?
Sorry, I lied. I use rubies.
That sounds very progressive either way.
Ruby pubes.
It's all about expressing
That
yourself.
sounds like
and,
a candy bar. Hey kids, why not try a ruby pube? New flavor, raspberry, yum yum.
yes, pube expression, pube pride. That's the right month for that.
Right.
Oh, God,
I
that
want
was-
to.
Free the pube.
Yeah.
I've heard of unseeing things, but I want to unhear that.
Yeah, well,
I don't know where that came from. It came from the pit.
Generate.
It came from the belly of the beast.
Hopefully we don't drive you off, Joyful Dude. You are War Campaign's moral compass, whether you realize it or not. Definitely.
All right, so Steve Dye says, goodbye, Ruby Pubes Day. Who could hang his name on you?
Oh my lord!
Oh shit!
Oh my God. Degeneracy.
Yeah, I need to put my helmet back on. I'm about to beat my head against the wall several dozen times, but in a happy way.
But can you do it in a gay way?
Undoubtedly.
Well, gay used to mean happy, so
That's true.
That's true.
Very good, Joyful Dude. Very good use of the vocab. Depends which
Also,
Gryffindor.
apparently, Aquarius can mean strange.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true as well.
So does that
Queer,
mean that the
queer, queer used to mean strange too. Yeah.
does that mean that the LGBTQRSLMNOP people are just really strange and happy?
Well, if you've ever seen one of their parades, they do seem very happy as well as very gay.
Yeah, I mean, I
God.
wouldn't necessarily. I've got nothing against, that crowd. I just don't understand why they need a freaking month. Like,
Well, any excuse to party. And, I've been to a Pride Fest or two myself. One of my favorite T-shirts I ever saw some bros wearing, on the streets of Chicago in Gay Town, what Boys Town is near the where the Cubs play. It said "Bromance with benefits," and I thought that was nice. Well, I didn't join them, but I appreciated the T-shirt.
At this point, Ro Kabir Kumar says, "Make out."
so I've got a bit of a history fact for everybody.
I love history. I have a degree in it, actually. Shoot.
So the story. So this is about the Night Witches, which is from World War II. The story of the Russian
Sung by
female pilots of the 588th Bomber Regiment, nicknamed Night Witches. Their nickname comes from the characteristic sound of their bomb planes that was all that could be heard during their nightly rates, since their engines. Basically, there was this battalion of all-female Russian bombers who used parts from old planes.
Yeah, I think they used biplanes mostly. I mean, talk about women having balls. Those were some proto-Valkyries, I would say.
Yeah,
flying the biplane in World War II and dropping bombs on the Germans at night when you can't.
The Valkyries definitely remind me of that.
Yes.
Yeah, they're
Hail the night bitches.
Hang on, so a bunch of Russian bints lobbing bombs on people in the middle of the night with engines off, gliding through the sky. I'm supposed to believe that.
Yeah. The Soviets started running out of men, so they pressed women into service.
I'm completely convinced that Soviet women were just men in disguise.
Like dwarves.
You're not far off, probably. The younger ones look pretty hot, but I knew someone once who knew someone else, a professor who taught Russian studies, and I think he was Russian, and he said something along the lines of, "Our women don't age very well."
Yeah, those things with Eastern European women that they're like milk, right? You better not let it go past due date.
Correct.
Because it curdles. It curdles.
Yeah.
There's definitely a due date on that, right? Anyway, all right. So this has been pretty degenerate.
Yep.
It has. Let's talk more World War II. Maybe Stalingrad. That's sad, but less degenerate.
How is that sad? The Russians kicked the ass of the Germans.
Oh, lots of things about it was like, for example, one of the strategies to keep the Germans interested was to supply the west side of the river, the 62nd Army under Zhukov, with just enough reinforcements so that they didn't lose a foothold, but kept the Germans coming, all the while waiting for Zhukov's counterattack, which the Germans completely missed. Another fun story. Well, actually, it's not fun. It's really kind of sad. In terms of Soviets pressing women into service, early on in Stalingrad, on the west side, there were panzers coming at a flak detachment. The Soviets were known for, again, because they were running out of men, because they would all get killed with the human wave tactics and all of that.
There was like
using
1
women-
million men.
Using women for anti-aircraft divisions, and there was an anti-aircraft battery on the west side that just our school girls basically firing over the.
He's
They were never
lagging.
trying to do. The Germans,
Am I the only one
even
who's
you
lagging?
know,
Well,
Morg, you're going robot on this.
I do that from time to time. The phone's close to
Let
my
me ask you.
fat
Let me
city.
ask you this: didn't the Soviets lose like something upwards of like 2 million people at Stalingrad?
I'd have to check.
I'll check right now, because I thought they lost just like
I'll check.
crazy numbers, like 10-1 numbers or something like that.
I know they lost, like, you know, not just the troops, they lost tens of thousands of civilians as estimated, because Stalin decided that the city shall not be evacuated because that would look bad.
All right, so here it is. The Soviets
Yeah.
1.12 million casualties.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is bigger than most.
Am I
nations.
the one
all
who
right.
feels like
it's the
part of the reason
population
why
of
the
Switzerland, but it's fine.
Wow.
am I the
Yeah.
one who feels like after
Yeah.
World War II
The Soviets got kind of power hungry.
Well, I mean, we won the war, except we didn't really, because the Russians did.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then we kicked their asses in the Cold War.
Well, in a way.
Yes, like Churchill said, an
Anyway.
Iron Curtain descending across Europe. But yes, you beat the Nazis, and then the Russians kept everything in Eastern Europe anyways. It was kind of, you know, unfortunate.
So you ever hear about the 104th Airborne Division of the U.S. Army?
What specifically about them?
Well, they're nicknamed the Screaming Eagles.
100.
Oh, you mean the 101, the 101st? Yeah.
Yeah, the 101st.
Yeah,
And during World War II,
we know all about them. They're famous.
they fought in several major campaigns and battles, including the Battle of. Is that Bug or Bold?
Bulge.
They're
Bulge.
Battle of the Bulge, dear friend. It's your
That
Bulge.
history.
Sounds
Like
You
in
have
a
to
proper
learn-
gay man's pants.
Joyful,
Bulge. Yeah.
you're going to have to learn that. That's your history, brother.
I wasn't sure if it was Bulge or. I mean, I figured that it was, but
Yeah.
Have you seen the HBO series Band of Brothers, Joyful? It's all about a regiment of the 101st. It's pretty good stuff.
I have not.
Yeah,
They
you
were
need
all
to
over
watch
the place. D-Day landings behind the lines. They were at Arnhem, which terrible.
Well,
And
that's
in the
based on-
Bulge too.
That's based on a book, right? Band of Brothers.
Yeah.
So if you can't read the book, watch the series. You need to.
Sabaton's got a song about the 101st called Screaming Eagles.
And it's really metal.
They've got a long history. In Vietnam, they traded in their parachutes for helicopters. Pretty interesting. If you've ever seen the Mel Gibson movie We Were Soldiers, that's about 101st engagement at. They landed a few companies outside of a mountain that had a battalion or regiment of VC in it, unfortunately, but they won. Bless Mel Gibson once again, except for the racism, of course. Terrible bigot.
Well, he was good in Mad Max.
Yeah. Love Max. Love him.
Like me better Max. Okay. Anyway, mate, you know what? We've got a couple of tinnies in the esky here, mate, and might get as drunk as a galah later on, but who gives a fucking shit? Fair dinkum, you know what I mean?
I barely know what you just said. I've got to hang around you more, too,
No,
to
in
pick up
fact,
some
I
of the
don't know what you
Australian.
mean.
I used to live in Oz as a kid.
Oh, really?
Not for long, a few years. I wasn't born there. I'm not an Aussie. Although I would be proud to be an Aussie. It's a great place.
Damn, I could go for some violet crumble right now.
Right? Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Candy from Australia. That's
Oh, the chocolate's
sort of a
crap. Chocolate in Australia
honeycomb
was crap.
thing and-
It's too hot. It melts. Even the tar on the roads melt. It gets
Yeah.
fucking hot.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So, yeah, that's real interesting and shit, guys. But we have a show to put on here, boys.
Sorry. I'll be quiet for a while.
I'm not good at dancing.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, so I don't know. Is there anything else anyone wants to say?
Yeah, I'd like to say what's his name? Ro Kavi Kumar says, I really like Gladiator.
Well,
Yeah, Gladiator. That was a good movie.
I have thoughts on gladiators, but that's best saved for another more gay time.
Now, what's more gay? Is it Spartan gay or Gladiator gay more gay?
Well, in the ancient world, the concept of homosexuality didn't really exist. All that mattered was that you were the pitcher instead of the catcher. If you were the pitcher, you were fine.
Right. I mean, you weren't even considered gay if you were the pitcher.
Right.
That's why. That's how all the patricians like Julius Caesar would do their thing, right? They were never the receiver.
True. Hail Caesar, by the way.
Caesar.
Hail Caesar.
But our Caesar, not Julius Caesar. He was a bit of a
Julius Caesar, he, the people who betrayed him basically said, "Hey, it's nice to meet you."
It's nice. Yeah, exactly. That's strange. Okay, so yeah. So I think with that, and we're gonna probably wrap it up here because we got the round table in a few hours, and I'm sure people have other things they got to do. And we just wanted to kind of spotlight Joyful and his new book, and finally meet the son of Colonel Comics. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat, not a cyber frog.
Sadly.
So anyway, we'll catch you later on the live stream tonight, and in the meantime, hail War Campaign, hail Caesar.
Hail Caesar.
Oh, shit.